There's no place to escape to.
This is the last podcast.
On the left. That's when the cannibalism started.
What was that?
You can't do the fire song. You're not allowed to. Like it.
I'm a true American. I don't have any rules.
Oh, yes, you
I
do.
can kill whoever I want.
Drone strike. Drone strike.
Standing my ground. I'm standing my
Really?
ground.
You think that that's appropriate?
Hey, everybody, I'm standing my ground.
That's Marcus Parks. I'm Ben Kissel. With me to the left, stand your ground, Henry Zabrowski.
I stand my ground. That means I can do anything I want.
That's right.
Yeah, let's have a low center of gravity.
That's right.
That's what people don't realize. That's what that law meant. George Zimmerman had a low legal center of gravity.
Low. He could not move off the ground, so he has to stand
Can't
the
knock
ground.
him off. Yeah, he's a weeble wobble. He's a weeble
Right.
wobble. He keeps going, man. And then I heard that he's going to take the gun that he used to kill Trayvon Martin. He's going to keep it for protection for himself. And I think that's good news.
Good news. God
Good
knows. He knows how to
news.
use it. That's wonderful.
Good news going
Stand
on.
your ground, Henry Zabrowski. Well, speaking of crime,
It's the end times.
It is the end times. Of course, the Zimmerman one was solved.
close.
The Zimmerman case was solved, but today we're going to discuss crimes that were not so solved. Some call them unsolved. You know what? It is
Stack.
kind of a cool intro.
Yeah. He's got a trench coat. What's under your coat there, Stack?
Big old dick. Big old dick.
It's my loopy penis.
Loopy penis.
Thanks, Robert Stack.
This is great.
Unsolved mysteries.
That was awesome. Loopy
so
penis.
Today we're going into, again, I want to say that these are some of the scarier crimes to the face of the planet because some of these people could still be out there.
Oh, yeah,
Looking
definitely.
for sweet, succulent tit meat.
Don't be a prostitute.
They want to shave it off like a bunch of ham. That's what they do to your breasts, ladies.
That's right. That's right. Like a bunch of deli ham. Put some pastrami on top of that, and a nice little piece of Munster cheese. You get yourself a $4.99.
You're just making me hungry.
Yeah.
All I've had this morning is a banana. Because I had a monkey's breakfast.
You did have a monkey's breakfast. By the way, I just want to let everyone know listening in at home, again, for the second episode in a row, Henry Zabrowski is shirtless.
I am not going to wear a shirt until the summer is over.
Okay.
I am going to murder.
What do you care?
Because I have to stare at it.
You're looking at me. I look like one of your cousins.
All right, so let's get into our first unsolved crime before we get into the monster that is Zodiac.
Well, I would say a lot of these crimes, a lot of them happened before pre-1960, 1970.
Sure.
Most of these crimes did. And there's a very...
Mostly because it's like cops are just, it's like there were 9 hot dog squads going on
That's
around
it.
the country all going like, whoa, hey, Jap, what do I do with the knife once I'm done cleaning it?
You weren't supposed to clean it. Yeah, I was cutting it up for the company barbecue.
There's a bunch of blood on it, and I knew for a fact everybody wanted apples and peanut butter for an early snack before lunch.
Well, there is actually... You're closer to the truth than you may think.
I know.
Sad.
Because before around like the 1970s, 1980s, the term serial murderer or serial killer was not in the police lexicon. In fact, most police officers believed that it was almost impossible for a man or a woman to kill someone that they did not know. If there was
the
a murder...
dumbest thing I've ever heard in my
if that-
entire life.
this is-
1945, a man named Adolf Hitler
Right.
made a gigantic auto industry, technically, and out of killing people he didn't know.
Yeah.
Unless you went around sending, like, get-to-know-you cards.
Right.
And he, like, you know, it's just like, okay, Hattie likes hockey. Hockey and
You can kill her now.
hockey and
You
hockey.
can
Get
kill
it,
her
get it.
now. That's good. How much information do you have to know about a person before you're like, I can murder you now. This is good.
It's hat size and favorite color.
That's it. Okay.
Well, police believed that if there was a murder, then it was almost impossible for a stranger to kill them. So a lot of these serial murderers, they didn't link them whatsoever. And in fact, BTK, for the longest time, they did not believe, despite there being evidence that these crimes were linked. They were like, nah, they're not linked.
Isn't it so bizarre? All these people falling off the edge of the mountain with their balls in their mouths and then their eyes, carved with X's. Isn't that weird?
Especially BTK because they let the fucking panties stick to their head. Each one, he let
They
the
all look
panties
the
stick to their head
exact
with
same.
cum all covered in it.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
definitely a pattern there.
So,
I
yeah, and
just-
so a lot of these
It
serial
started a
murders-
long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't really until Bundy that they really started paying attention to patterns across the United States, and eventually popped in on these guys.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of these murders are like pre-1970.
Okay.
So let's start. On February 1946, two young people, Jimmy Hollis and Mary Jean Larry, were parked on a secluded Bowie County road outside Texarkana. They were forced out of the car by an armed man, his face hidden by a burlap sack with two
Interesting.
slits for eyes.
That's a precursor to our favorite that's coming up very soon.
That's right.
The assailant beat Hollis with the gun, cracking the young man's skull in two places. He then sexually assaulted Larry before fleeing when he saw the headlights of a car approaching. Both of these victims eventually recovered from their wounds.
He used the gun wrong.
This is the beginning of the Phantom of Texarkana.
Now, is this
Well, that just sounds like a gay show tune, doesn't it? The Phantom of Texarkana.
Oh,
also
when
known
that
as-
Chattanooga Express comes into town, then we'll meet the Phantom of Texarkana.
I mean, the other name for it is no better. The Texarkana Moonlight Murders.
I mean,
That's
the
just
Texarkana,
adorable.
but the Texarkana Moonlight Murders, I can kind of see as like a cute name for a bunch of people getting their fucking like pussies cored out of them. Like that would be
Sure.
like a fun thing
I could
to
see-
read about.
Right, sure. Yeah, I can see that.
And to give you a little background, Texarkana is one of the worst places on earth.
No, is this close to where you live?
No, this is okay. This might as well be 2 states over. This is right. It's called Texarkana because half of it is in Texas and half of it is in Arkansas. Paper mill smells like farts.
Yeah.
I worked there for a month doing construction when I was like 16. Awful place.
Half
The
Arkansas,
only-
half Texas? Oh, my God.
It's like
East
half
Texas.
puke, half goat butter.
Hey, hey,
Ooh,
hey!
I like
hey,
that
hey.
goat
Yeah,
butter.
goat
Yeah,
butter.
Texas
We get-
is the goat butter. That's
Yeah,
good.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
Yeah,
I'm
we
just
like
saying.
it.
It's just,
I
I'm
mean,
just not
puke
used
and
to that
goat.
type of butter.
Yeah, it's different.
More details on the first assault is the man brought them out of the car and then told the guy, take your pants off.
Yeah,
That's scary.
And so the
That's
guy
his calling card to take your pants off, murderer. You see, that's a good name.
Yeah, I would be terrified by
So
that guy.
so the guy took his pants off down to his ankle. The guy hit him twice in the head, and the woman was sexually assaulted. Although she does maintain that she was never raped,
Okay.
So, what do you mean? Like he was just kissing her?
like just grabbing at her.
He just put down a blanket. He had some red wine with him, some nice fromages.
I'm not into. You know what? This is like only the third worst state I've been on, but
Yeah.
I didn't ask for it. So
Yep.
So the man.
they sat and they watched When Harry Met Sally, and then afterwards she was like, "I don't know if I like the way he held my hand. It's a sexual assault.
I agree.
I don't want to get Jezebel in our tail.
Yep. The next, of course not. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
It's good. Any news is good news, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Got to get those female bloggers to hate us. Won't be hard. Won't be hard.
Next up was Richard Griffin and Pollyann Moore.
Too busy falling in love with our voices.
Yes.
Hello, female buggers.
Only 2 weeks later, Richard Griffin and Pollyann Moore again on a secluded country road while they were making time out by the moonlight.
Oh my.
Man comes up with a .32 revolver, brings them out of the car, shoots them both in the head, and then puts them back in the car. Did not sexually assault the woman
But
that time.
did he like nail the dude's hands at 10 and 2 and then put the radio on?
That would be good. Yeah.
Let's go surfing now. Everybody's learning how.
It was 1946, so it was like,
Oh, yeah,
That's a good song to roll down a mountain dead
Get a little thimble for your gal.
to. Yeah.
Less than a month later, Paul Martin and Betty Jo Booker, a 15-year-old aspiring saxophonist who had just played a gig with her band, The Rhythmaires.
And later on would be loosely based on the character Lisa Simpson.
They were found murdered in their car. Again, Mary Jo, she was taken out of the car, raped, shot in the head, and then put back in the car. Her saxophone was found, thrown from the car in a mud ditch where it stayed for months.
No respect for music. So now there's
just
this
imagine-
is the same guy, right?
And the Rhythmaires never played again.
Isn't that tragic? And they had a gig booked.
I just imagine the same sort of mass killer like going through the village in New York and just like killing girls and throwing their ukuleles out
Get
into
outta
the street. It's the winsome ukulele player murderer.
I would be happy if he did that. If there was a serial killer out there and you're listening, please.
The calling card is cute, sort of like dirty parody songs played on the ukulele.
Feel free. Take them out. Take them out. So they assume this is all the same guy.
This is the same
So,
guy. And
okay.
this is the time that the streets of Texarkana went fucking insane. Because
Okay.
now you've got an assault and 2 and 4 murders.
I just
within,
find it
like,
interesting how you
a
can,
month and a half.
You can see him actually, like, the first one, he just beats him, doesn't really do anything. Then finally he gets to killing, and then finally gets to killing and raping. Like,
Yeah.
he's really figuring this out
Well,
slowly.
they all talk about it. Ted Bundy had an amazing quote, and he was talking about how the first time you do a murder, you know where everything is and it's perfectly planned. The 30th time you do a murder, you forget where the lug wrench is.
Yo, I love that that's a Ted Bundy joke.
Yo, that's it. Yeah, that's him. You understand? Yeah, we all get sick of our job. Even we get lazy here on
Of
Last
course.
Podcast.
Of course.
Actually, no, we don't. Because we respect our audience. We're not like Ted Bundy,
That's
who
right.
gave up 30 times in. Because we're 84 in.
That's
and I
right.
never forget where the fucking lug wrench is. And it's always right here in my big old greasy pocket.
That's true, everybody. He keeps a lug wrench.
Because I got a ham and cheese croissant in there as well.
So the town of Texarkana is going fucking nuts. People are shooting each other accidentally on a damn near weekly basis.
Of course it is, because it's also probably one of the. It's like the Gaza Strip in terms of who's got armaments on them at any given point. Yet old Bubba's got a fucking like Civil War cannon in his backyard, going like, "I'm gonna get that Phantom."
that
there
would
was
be great.
And people are building these like elaborate pots and pans booby traps near their
The
doors.
pots and pans booby trap.
See, y'all, booby
you want
traps,
to take
yeah.
a look over here? Is that I've put, if you notice, I've put an octagon of banana peels in front of my door frame
Right.
here, and then when he flips up, what I'm hoping is that he slips on one of the various pots I could put in front of that, and that one of the pots ends up on his head, thus making him blind, and then I'll shoot him in the throat.
Oh, wow. You could just shoot him to begin with.
No, I like the sounds of a man falling through a bunch of pots and pans. It's, it's
okay.
like a lullaby to me.
Oh, all right, all right. What are you using to cook in your kitchen right now? All the pots and pans seem to be outside.
I
a
mean,
booby
old
trap.
Bessie better fucking figure it out, or she gonna get the pots and pan treatment herself.
Okay, well, I'm sure she will then.
So the
No
city
one wants the pots and pans treatment.
The city council set up a reward fund. It got up to over $4,200
Oh, wow.
for
All the
any
town?
and all information regarding leading
the
to the
town's
arrest
money.
of the Phantom of
$4,200,
Texarkana.
and you get all entitlement to Bessie Jackson.
Oh, wow.
I'm here to serve the community.
And so this is the point when the Texas Rangers get involved and send down Manuel Lone Wolf Gonzalez.
Oh, cool. All right.
This is an amazing story.
Yeah.
Is this not ever been made into a movie?
It has. It was called The Town That Dreaded Sundown.
The town that
Oh,
dreaded
yes, it's supposed to be
sundown.
really good, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be like kind of like a campy-ish, like but pretty good horror movie. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Did anyone
Check it
else
out.
I was
picture-
saving that reveal for the end. Thanks, Henry.
Damn it!
You blew it, Henry. You blew the whole goddamn thing. Did anybody
I'm
else
no
think...
Ira Glass.
Well, thank God.
And so
Thank God for
Gonzalez-
that. Did anybody else picture Lorenzo Lamas from Renegade?
Yeah,
I could see that, right? The
I
lone
kinda-
wolf.
You know who I pictured the fat sheriff from House of a Thousand Corpses.
Okay, different versions of the guy.
Yeah,
you're looking more modern, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true. Okay.
I was looking at a handsome young Gilbert Gottfried.
Sure. All three of these could work. Just do an amalgamation of all three of those characters. Amalgamation.
Yeah, so Gonzalez came into town and, of course, fueled the hysteria because he's a fucking idiot. He went on the radio and said,
I've
let's
seen the
see
Phantom
here,
and he's got wings.
that Texarkanians should, quote, oil up their guns and see if they're loaded, put them out of reach of children, do not use them unless it's necessary, but if you believe it is, do not hesitate. When asked what the advice he would give to quiet the town's fear, he responded, I'd tell them to check the locks and bolt on their doors and get a double-barrel shotgun to take care of any intruder who tried to get in.
This just sounds like what's happening in Florida right now.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Nothing has changed. Stand your ground.
And
Just
so-
in case any phantoms and everybody winks, the whole town winks at once and everyone does quotation marks at once.
Yeah.
And
we know
so-
what they mean. We know what they're talking about.
And so at this point, all of the murders are teenagers on Lover's
Lover's
Lanes.
Lane,
Yeah.
making out, necking.
However, at this point, the cops are everywhere, but this man still feels the urge to kill.
Man, and old Todd has got his blue balls up his fucking ass because he hasn't been able to go out to make out point with
Terrible.
Lucy anytime soon.
I know it.
So he goes out into the Starks ranch, way outside of town. Virgil is sitting on his front porch. Katie's inside cooking dinner. Guy shows up. He shoots Virgil in the face twice. Katie goes out and sees it. She runs back inside. The Texarkana Phantom shoots her in the face twice. She gets away, runs down the road to her sister's place, calls the cops, and the Texarkana Phantom is never seen again. However, they do believe that at one point they did arrest the guy who was responsible. His name was, let's see here, Yaleman.
Yellman?
Yale Sweeney. Yale Sweeney.
Yale Sweeney did
Yale
this?
Sweeney.
Little dumb boy Yale Sweeney did this?
Yeah, he was found because it was believed that the Texarkana Phantom would steal a car, commit the murder, and then dump the car. And Sweeney was found with a stolen car. There were some not fingerprint matches. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he was linked to the crime.
Toe print matches.
When they went to arrest him,
He left several of his wigs at the scene of the crime.
Yes.
Not my beautiful wigs. Oh, I don't want anyone to see how balding I am. Oh, I must be presentable.
The Phantom of Texarkana.
When
Texarkana.
his wife provided details of the murder, it's like, my husband said that he did this. However,
Okay.
a wife is not required to testify against her husband in trial, so they never had any
Oh, yeah.
evidence. So he never actually.
That's a good fucking wife there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However, after he was arrested, the murder stopped. However, some people in town claim that the murderer was rumored to be from a well-to-do Texarkana family.
Intriguing.
Them rich people up there, I guarantee it's them rich people up there on that hill. They're sending their sons down here to fucking murder us, kill our children.
They just think we're a bunch of pigs and cows, and I'll have them know we're a bunch of goats and chickens.
I agree. So, what's the death toll for this guy? What's the
the death
total?
toll on him is 5.
5. But he attempted to do, what,
7?
7?
Yeah.
5 out of 7?
Yeah, not bad.
Not terrible, not terrible. I mean, you shoot a girl twice in the face. You got to kill her.
At the same time, I mean, you just ruined her dating life.
Yeah.
You know, because she's now 2-hole Betsy for the rest of her life.
I
and
agree.
she's like, nah, I got 4 holes.
I mean, somebody might be into it. Who knows?
Yeah, so dude, just putting his dick in her other face hole.
Yeah. Not letting it heal up.
Well, that's wonderful.
I love it. So let's see. Any other unsolved
So
crimes?
let me quickly go into over my a guy that I was researching, a guy called the
Yeah.
Axeman of New Orleans.
Axeman of
Now,
New
again,
Orleans.
this sounds like some sort of blues player, but it's not.
does.
It's a man who killed Italian grocers in the
How did
early
he kill them?
1900s by hit him in the head with an axe.
Okay.
But the thing was that so back in the day, so 1911, like there's not a lot of mostly what came out about this like unknown case is the fact that it was like the first time newspapers came out and talked about this idea of a dual personality. Like everyone was obsessed with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde at the
Right.
time because it had like just come out, and like everyone was like kind of talking about that and in terms of people for the first time, and the idea of a guy that could have 2 separate personalities, essentially because the X-Men wrote this like really ridiculous letter to the police, which I'm going to read very soon. But he killed a couple of Italian grocers called the Maggios. They apparently then officially changed their name to the Macchios, which is how they
toughen up.
eventually became, Ralph
Ralph.
Macchio.
Yeah.
That's the family
Sure.
line.
Yeah,
That's
they
not
learned
true.
their karate and
None of
things.
that's true.
That's not true.
But then he killed a Polish grocer and his mistress. He didn't really he killed the mistress. He didn't kill the dude. But the thing,
This guy's got a real vendetta against grocers.
I don't
huh?
know what it is. I think that he was afraid of cantaloupes.
Yeah,
I think
something
that
like
he
that.
was trying to get his sort of. I think he was starting the first Whole Foods, and he was going against the corporate chills
I
around
agree.
him.
Destroy the competition.
But the way I guess axes were made in 1911, that you could just hit a dude like 3 or 4 times
Sure.
in the head with an axe, and it would kind of just like hurt him. They were really dull.
So they didn't
He didn't
die.
split their heads open. It's like essentially like a big pointed hammer back in the day.
Yeah, he
Okay.
tried killing a pregnant woman and failed.
Yes.
He failed to kill
Killed
a
a-
pregnant woman?
Yes.
She was
failed
8
to kill-
months pregnant.
Yeah, and he hit her in the head a bunch of times with an axe.
I mean, it
She
doesn't
was
sound like an
fine.
axe. It sounds like a muddler you could make guacamole with.
I
How
think that's what they meant to call him, was the muddler of
the,
New Orleans.
yeah, and
but
the
they
muddler of
decided it didn't
New
get-
Orleans. That's terrifying.
But the way he would, the common thing that linked him to all his crimes is that because Italians used to live like rats escaping from a sinking ship,
Sure.
they all lived in wooden shanty houses.
Right.
So he would just, instead of breaking in, he just cut a hole in the back of the house.
So you just took like an X-Acto knife and just
Like
made a
literally,
door.
like made a door in the back of the house and go in. And it was like the first one. It was like the grocers that were killed. It was it was three brothers living with three brothers and then one of the brothers' wives, and they're all just smashed together in a fucking like essentially a wooden tent.
So it's like what? It's as close as you could possibly get to like an Acme cartoon.
Yes.
Like when
It's
Wile E.
like
Coyote
Tenement
throws
House. Yes.
like when he throws a piece of like a black circle against a wall and just creates an.
He's the Wile E. Coyote of New Orleans.
Did he scalpel out a window to escape from?
Well, he would do a lot of, he would draw like a sort of, for victims, how he killed his victims, he would find a gigantic cave wall.
Okay.
And he would paint like a road going through it. Like it
Okay.
was like a sort of tunnel, like
Yeah.
on the other side, and they would just go in there and they would smash their fucking brains.
So they did it
on
to
the cave
themselves.
wall.
Brilliant.
No. He was just, but they suspect that he may have been kind of retarded. But I
Yeah.
would like to
He was
read-
very bad at what he did.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
he kill anybody?
He killed a 2-year-old girl.
Yeah. He killed the one of the,
Not
he killed,
tough.
he killed two people.
Okay.
And then the rest of it was just like, the Axeman's coming. And then they like, because for a long time they thought that it was just mob-related killings because
Right.
back in early 1900s, New Orleans, the whole town was run by the mob. So they just thought this guy was just a mob hitman who
Sure.
was just a moron. But then it turned out like, no, he's the Axeman of New Orleans. And he probably could
He's a muddler.
There's a lot of people who said that the muddler of New Orleans could have possibly been one of the richer sons of one of the wealthy members of society.
Well,
there.
he's obviously an inbred. No doubt about that.
It's
obviously.
always this.
Yeah.
This is the common. This is the common. Fucking. They're always just like, but maybe it's the nobility son. Well, I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me read the letter.
Yeah, let's read the Axeman letter, the muddler letter here.
And I'm going to read it in proper dialect of the time.
New Orleans.
Hail, March 13, 1919. Yeah, the immortal. They have never caught me, and they near will. They have never seen me. I'm invisible. Even as the ether that surrounds the earth, I'm not the air I'm being, but the spirit.
I'm reading along with you and I can't understand what you're
But a
saying.
spirit and a demon from the hottest hell. I am what you Orleanians and your foolish police call the Axeman.
He
When I
named
see
himself.
fit-
You can't name yourself.
He called himself.
He's the muddler.
Yeah.
I'm the Axeman.
When I see fit, I shall come and claim all the victims. I alone know whom they shall be. I shall leave no clue except my bloody axe. Be smeared with blood and brains of he whom I have sent below to keep me company.
This man is wearing a cape made of a
I hope you like gumbo or Creole.
That's not a part of the
soup.
letter.
If you wish, you may tell the police to be careful not to rile me. Of course, I am a reasonable spirit. I take no offense at the way they have conducted their investigations in the past. In fact, they have been so utterly stupid as to not only amuse me, but His Satanic Majesty, Francis Joseph, etc. But tell them to beware. Let them not try to discover what I am, for it were better that they were never born to incur the wrath of the Axeman.
I'm the Axeman.
I'm the Axeman.
Yeah, that is the thing. He is wearing an aluminum foil hat and a fucking blanket
I don't think there's
cape
any
right now.
need of any such warning, for I feel sure the police will always dodge me, as they have in the past. They are wise and know how to keep away from all harm. Indubitably, you Orleanians think of me as the most horrible murderer, which I am. But I could be much worse if I wanted to. If I wished, I could pay a visit to your city every night. At will, I could slay thousands of your best citizens.
Thousands?
For I am in close relationship with the Angel of Death. Now, to be exact, at 12:15 earthly time.
What other time is he talking about?
His time! His time!
Okay.
Hell's time. On next Tuesday night, I'm going to pass over New Orleans. In my infinite mercy, I'm going to make a little proposition to you people. Here it is. I am very fond of jazz music, and I swear by all the devils in the nether regions that every person shall be spared in whose home a jazz band is in full swing at the time I have just mentioned. If everyone has a jazz band going, well, then so much the better for you people. One thing is certain is that some of your people who do not jazz it on Tuesday night, if there be any, will get the axe.
Oh my goodness.
Well, as I am cold and crave the warmth of my native Tartarus, it is about time I leave your earthly home. I will cease my discourse, hoping that thou wilt publish this, and that it may go well with thee. I have been, am, and will be the worst spirit that ever existed, either in fact or realm of fancy. The Axeman.
The Axeman did not write that letter.
The muddler
No,
of New Orleans.
there is no way in hell the
amazing.
Axeman
I think
wrote
it was written by Jared Logan.
That's
It was a
great.
dandy fop who wanted a jazz party on Tuesday.
I think it was some kind of like a saxophonist.
Saxophonist. Jared Logan.
Sex fascinist?
Saxophonist.
Well, that's great. I love the Axeman.
And then,
very, very much.
really quick, I read about another thing called the West Mesa Bone Collector, which I read about and I was so excited to learn about. I was like, ooh, because they found 11 prostitutes and one fetus buried
One
in
fetus.
a field.
And this is current. They found them in 2009.
This is 2009, and I was like, this is amazing. They were all involved in something with the drug cartel. I was like, Bone Collector. Why
Right.
the fuck is this guy called the Bone Collector? You know, it's like, did he take the bones? Did he make it in a hat?
Right.
You know, that's what I want
It's
to
a
read
heavy
about.
hat, though.
So I Googled West Mesa Bone Collector, and this is the first thing that came up, was this video.
Okay.
The whole time it's all talking about all the dudes and animals that Granddaddy shot with his favorite gun.
It's
Right.
a bit of a psychotic song. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's a gun.
It's a love song to your
I mean-
old weird grandfather's gun.
It would be cool if his grandfather was the Zodiac killer.
Granddaddy's
You
call.
That would be kind of fun.
When he shoved inside my grandma there and he made me watch it all. Granddaddy's call.
That's a great song.
And of course, there are plenty of other. So there's the Cleveland Torso murder. That guy is actually a fucking killed 12 people.
Yeah, I mean, that guy's for real.
Yeah,
guy's
that guy, like the Cleveland Torso murder, he killed 12 people.
And then
Decapitation.
he'd always do this thing where he'd like cut the head and the arms and legs off and like put him in a bunch of leaves and be like, and
Yeah.
then right
Kinda
underneath
fun.
it like Russell, and then like
Yeah.
he'd nail him up to a wall and just be like art,
Yeah.
Yeah.
12
He was real creative.
12 confirmed victims. Only 2 of them were ever identified. All the rest of them were transients and hobos.
Well, yeah, because they didn't have any heads, arms, or legs.
Some of them,
Typical.
about half, had their heads missing.
Do we have any belly buttons prints on this guy? Well, if he's never been arrested before.
Yeah, sometimes he would cut them off at the torso, and then that's why he called it the torso murder, because he
Right.
would take the legs and he would take the head and just kind of leave the torso and the arms for whatever reason.
It's kind of fun.
Who knows why?
Fun body to stumble over.
Yeah, and there's it's suspected that it could be he could have killed like dozens.
Some sort
more.
of nobility son.
Yeah, some say that it
I'm
could.
sure.
Some say it could be a nobility sonsman.
Sunsman.
It's also said that the torso murderer could have been the Black Dahlia murderer. And
Yeah,
just,
it may have also been the no head, no legs murderer.
Because he had no heads, no legs.
He also did the same thing, but it wasn't like torso specific. It was more about what he did with the heads and the legs.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
He's also rumored to be the perpetrator of 17 murders in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, referred to as the Murder Swamp Killer.
All right.
Yeah, you
Kinda
see,
fun.
Murder Swamp, I guess.
I
Swamp.
love these unsolved crimes.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
they're
his
the
other
best.
alias is the Mad Butcher of Kingsbury Run.
That's great.
See, Mad Butcher of Kingsbury Run. That sounds like
That's a
a
great
guy I can
nickname.
get behind.
That's
Yeah,
where
definitely.
a lot of his bodies were found. That
Okay.
there in Jackass Hill.
Jackass Hill.
Jackass Hill.
Huh.
Why do you
What's
even
up with
go there? Is that a makeout point? Hey,
They're all-
Dolly, you want to come out to Jackass Hill? She's like, no. Jackass.
I ain't gonna have sex with you, jackass.
They're all makeout points.
Yeah.
Yeah, of
all
course.
of them are. And of course, there's the Chicago Tylenol murders.
That's right.
Or murders which were absolutely never solved. I'm sure a lot of
What
us.
was the story behind that? That is just like a guy just put
There's 7 people died, and then just a dude put a bunch of poison in a bunch of Tylenol. And the thing is, we don't really have time to get into it now, but it's like the cool thing is it completely changed America forever because now you have those fucking gel caps,
Yeah,
and you can't like open up anything, and it's like
Which
you
I
know, it's like
love.
Son of Sam made women change their haircuts for like a month.
Yeah.
but like he changed like every single time
natural,
you go to the
like
pharmacy.
national policy.
Yeah, like
Which
national
I-
policy, which is nuts.
But that's the same
But
thing
more
too.
te-
It's just like
we can actually talk about that in a domestic terrorism episode.
Well, it's the whole thing. So it's like anybody could like because you barely pay attention if the pop is cap, so the cap is popped when you get a
Sure.
drink. So it's like anybody could stick a needle filled with AIDS into a Snapple.
I don't know if that's how you
That's what you do.
transmit AIDS.
I'm just saying.
I mean, you might want to get a different
Anybody
than
could
AIDS.
take a bunch of AIDS germs and rub them on your pillows.
Sure.
And then you got AIDS now,
Yeah,
know?
I think that's a possibility.
which is a livable disease.
Right. You
You know?
Yeah.
And it's just rough. You just got to take a pill every day. It's hard.
Yes, and hopefully that pill isn't poisoned as well.
Yeah.
That would be a real
then-
double doozy.
And then very quickly, there's Bible John who killed women in Glasgow who were on their period.
That happens.
They called him Bible John because a girlfriend of one of the girls that he murdered met him, and he was just like, "I know the Lord." He was just like,
Yeah,
like,
all
it
right.
was like to quote Bible scriptures
Of
over
course.
and over
Real
again.
boring fellow.
Really fun
Definitely.
guy.
I mean, yeah, until you find out he was a murderer, and you're like, Bible
Oh,
John. I didn't know
can
he was so
smell
cool.
their periods from here.
Kill him.
Oh God, I just want to get some of that lady jam
Lady
up in my
Jam.
nose.
Rub that marmalade on some toast. That's what they should call it from now on. Menstruation is now Lady Jam or marmalade. depending on how
Marmalade.
thick it
like
is.
memories.
Marmalade. All right, guys, I have to get out of here. Hail yourselves, everybody,
All right.
and fill me in about all this sweet information.
All right.
All right, love you guys. Hail yourselves. Talk to you later.
Get out of here!
I'm outta here.
We don't need you! All right. Ben had to go, so we don't get to fill your ears with the delicious, evil details of the Zodiac Killer and all of the delights that are brought along with the conspiracy theories as to who the man was and who the man definitely wasn't, who is all of San Francisco.
Yes, everyone in the city of San Francisco. Although it could have been an avant-garde art project, it could have been Satanists.
Could have been Satanists. It could have been the San Francisco Police Department playing a game on themselves.
It
It
could
could
have
have been the
been-
Unabomber.
It could have been MK Ultra.
Literally the deepest, darkest rabbit hole that I have ever experienced researching for last podcast. Next episode, we're covering the Zodiac exclusively. If you did it, if you're a listener who did it, fucking come on, give it up.
Yeah.
Give us an exclusive.
We know you're out there.
Arthur Allen, he's dead. I'm sorry.
He's very
I'll
dead.
get into Arthur Allen later on. Don't get me started, all right? I won't blame a Satanist. I
Yeah.
read 2 things about Satanists talking about the Zodiac Killer, and they were both being like, he'd never be the type of trigger man they choose. It's more of a Prescott Bush that they would choose. It's like, yes, I know, yes, we all want old evil men working for Satanists, but sometimes you gotta have a young buck. But thank you guys. We will bring you some Zodiac knowledge next week.
Too much.
Too much.
Algene.
I literally didn't sleep last night. How much information was rolling around in my head.
I didn't sleep the night before.
Heil me!
Goodbye. Me gustalations.
Magustalations.
Oh, and happy birthday, Amanda. Happy birthday from all of us. Goodbye.